Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Time for Papa's Comic Books and Coffee. Today we're going to read Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing and Spider-Man, number 17, only 25 cents back in 1976. Story is This City Afire. Now don't forget, this book and others are available on my eBay page, Papa's-Comic-Books. Hit that sub button and smash that like button, please. Keeps this channel going. Okay, without further ado, let's get into it. Snapping my web won't help you, Spidey's coming through. Maybe you can smash Spider-Man creep, but nobody clobbers the Thing. The City Afire. This is by Bill Manto and Sal Buscemi. If you happen to have been looking out of your window a few hours ago, you might have seen a figure in the skies over Manhattan that could only have been Spider-Man, plucked from midair by a strangely hovering fireball. Some of the events depicted in this book had their partial beginnings in Marvel 2-in-1 number 16. If you cared, you might have phoned for the police. If not, you probably curled up in bed with the day's Daily Bugle. And soon after reading the editorial, you might have found yourself asleep. But for the wall crawler, those few hours have been agonized days spent lost in time, fighting menaces in both the past and the future that you in your slumber could never have dreamed of. And now, a few hours later, the prodigal son returns and hopes his voyaging is over. I made it. This has got to be the present. It's gotta. But I feel so funny. Thoughts vague. Can't seem to think straight. Uh-oh. Doomstime platform. Right. That I remember. Division sent it back for me after our battle with Dark Rider in the 17th century Salem. I stayed, hoping to save the people who'd been accused of being witches during the riots, but I blew it. The fight took too long, and they were all hanged, just like in the history books. And then what? I got back on the platform heading for now, but halfway here, the local became an express during some kind of time storm. I seem to remember going somewhere fighting, like in a dream, where everything is recognizable, but different at the same time. There goes the platform, back to Latveria, or wherever Doom is now. Maybe I even dreamed all that. No, that much of it was real. I can check it with vision. I have to. But I still feel like there was something else, something I should remember. Oh well, standing on a windy rooftop isn't going to get me anything but a cold. So maybe I'll remember on my way downtown. Yeah, maybe, and maybe not. And across 4 decades, 2 men called Killraven, the other Deathlock, stop, shake their heads, and slowly lose touch with a dream. Question. What's orange with rock-like skin, weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 pounds, has a pleasant sunny disposition, and is at this moment climbing down the mouth of a very live volcano? Come on, Toe, find yourself a crack in them rocks and hang on. Answer, Benjamin J. Grimm, The Thing. I must be getting corny in my old age, 'cause I'm starting to remember all them grade B's where the hero looks up and wonders if he's ever going to see the sunlight again. Except this ain't no movie, unless I've been cast in a remake of 1 million years BC and they ain't got around to telling me yet. It all started when Reed's gizmo began picking up seismic shocks underneath the South Pole, which meant that yours truly found himself skydiving right smack into the middle of Khazar's hidden jungle, where the Welcome Him Committee consisted of one hungry Allosaurus, with me taking the place of the T-bone on the local menu. I'll bet you're a gas at parties, Allie. You got more ivories in the cavern mouth of yours than a blasted piano. Dino was no sweat. Still, I was knocking the fact that old Jungle Lord and his pet Siamese Zabu picked a particular moment to make their entrance. I too have heard of these eruptions whose source you seek, Ben Grimm. Zabu and I will lead you to that which threatens the savage land. He led all right. waltzing us right into the half-baked schemes of a madman named Volcanus. Seems Volcanus figured us using the force of the volcanic disturbance to make himself a god. He might even have made it if he hadn't slipped and fell into the lava bubbling away in the heart of the volcano below. The same volcano that I decided I had to check out from the inside. I wish you luck, my friend. That ain't half of what I'm wishing myself, pal. So here I am, clinging to the wall like I was blasted Spider-Man. Lava underneath me, the whole place smelling of sulfur. And I still ain't found a thing to explain why volcanoes all over the globe picked this here weekend to sound off. Maybe Reed should have sent the torch, or even Susie. Because as a superhero, Mrs. Grimm's little boy, Benjamin, turned it into a real washout. Perhaps Ben Grimm, but not very likely. Still, if your search has as yet procured no results, perhaps it because that which you seek has no intention of being found yet. All right, enough of that sob stories, Benjamin. You're just letting this place give you the creeps. Remember, you ain't got nothing but fear certain for the fear itself, or something to that effect. Yikes! What in the name of Aunt Petunia? A bat so astonished are that they fail to notice its green coloration. And then there's no time to notice anything. There's only time to fall. Now, I did it. I must have figured I'd float once I let go of the ledge. Nah, trouble is I didn't figure it at all. Well, you better do some fancy thinking now, mister, and fast. Are you going to find out if the rocks are made of melt just like regular kind? Phew, I don't even want to think about it. And after a painstaking climb back to the ledge from which he had fallen, something ain't right in here. Like, what would a bat be doing inside a volcano? And what made it fly out? I think I'll just take me a look-see inside the cave here, inside the here cave. Or I'll try anyhow. Slim Jims, those are good. Nothing. I can't see more than 6 inches into the blasted thing. Wait a minute. There is something in there moving towards me. If only I could see. My eyes. If it is light you wish, intruder, then it is light you shall have. Great flash was so sudden I didn't have time to cover my eyes. Everything's flashing colors in my head like a pinball machine gone haywire. Gotta try and crawl towards the voice, grab hold of the joker who did this to me, and then pulverize him. How fitting that you come to me on your knees, fool. For soon, that is the posture the entire world will adopt, crawling to me, subligating, begging, covering in abject fear as they await the moment when I will either preserve or destroy them in the fires of earth. And in that moment, will the world cry, Basilic. I hear him up ahead of me. Just got to get a little closer. Got to get him squirming, his eye squawking. Give my eyes a chance to quit shooting off fireworks and get back to normal. Basilisk, huh? So if you're such great shakes, how come I ain't never heard of you? An accident, my friend, wherein I allowed my greed to overcome my judgment. Keep jarring just a little longer, loudmouth. But in this months since then, I have learned to be both patient and judicious. And this time, there will be no margin for error, for there will be no error before my power was halved and incomplete. But now, the basilisk is whole, and nothing can stand before me. Want to bet, hotshot? Now that my baby blues are back in business, I ain't got to worry about having to fight what I can't see, 'cause your ugly puss is coming through loud and clear. And Buster, that means it's clobbering time. Boom! Fool, you only prolong the inevitable. Sugar daddies, they go good with Slim Jims. For the chain of events has already begun. The first link has already been forged. The basilisk has waited too long, planned too long, to allow himself to be stopped now. Even now, as this battle draws to a close, the earth above us begins its unravel. At my command, you mean to tell me a little punk like you can causing them volcanoes? Why, ya dirty. Enough, for you, my fool, will now freeze. Twin shafts of power lance towards Ben Grimm, and his outstretched hand never closes on the prize he had anticipated. No problem in catching. There, it is done. The power of my I-beams is immeasurable, stronger, perhaps even greater than I myself am aware. But that is the theory which shall be put to test. For it is time for the earth to rise up once again. But this time it will not be in some barren, scarcely populated region. This time has come to strike out the very heart of civilization, to let mankind taste my power in full, and to sign that will herald the coming of the basilisk. Will be the destruction of New York. The bozo so caught up in his speech, he didn't notice that by heating himself up, he was thawing me out at the same time. But he ain't gonna be kept ignorant for long. Hope you all got that off your chest, Basil. 'Cause you ain't got nowhere or destroying nothing. Not while the thing is here to stop you. Fool, you are too late. My atoms were in the midst of transferring themselves to the already doomed city. In coming in contact with me, you have merely secured for yourself the opportunity to watch the burning of New York. That is, if your body can withstand the shock, instantaneous unshielded teleportation. We're really sorry to leave you hanging like this, but my mysterious process called cross-cutting, we're going to skip a few moments ahead. And a few thousand miles northwest of the Chelsea apartment of one Peter Parker, a young gentleman quietly trying to sort out his thoughts, on what might very well be the eve of the destruction of the city in which he lives. Well, that makes 2 questions I've managed to flub. Face it, Parker. One simply does not spend 2 days traveling through time and then come back and try to prepare oneself for a final. I may be a superhero, but I'm still only human. Hey, what in I'm sorry already, I'll answer the only question's right next to me. It feels like whole building has decided to get up and walk away with itself, which is fine except for the fact that in Chelsea they barely build any strong enough to stand up, let alone move to a better neighborhood. But it's not just one building. The shockwave ripples across the whole city. Condemned structures fall, bridges sway. A recently rebuilt section of the West Side Highway collapses again. And as fast as it had come and the shock is gone, telephone. Mary Jane trying to call me all night. No, I was out. Of course I am right, all right. Hey, MJ, what's the hysterics? I mean, you're all right, aren't you? Yes, Peter. Yes, I'm fine, but you don't have to television. And the news said your area was hardest. And Peter, can you see the river from your apartment? Just barely, Mary Jane, but I don't see what. Look northwest, Peter, up towards the George Washington Bridge. I don't believe it. Peter, are you there? It isn't possible. Yes, I'm here, MJ, I think. Mary Jane, listen, I've got to swing Peter over. What are you? I mean, hop in a cab. And some photos, Peter, have you gone crazy? Peter, but Peter is already a long way off and moving fast. There's the bridge. And that blanket of smoke means that I did see what I thought I saw. But that's impossible. It couldn't happen. Not in the middle of New York City. Webb, here, head, my spider sense just starting buzzing like mad. Shockwave, even stronger than the first, shaking me off my webbing like a dog shaking off his fleas. Woof, it's a good thing I was near a rooftop. Otherwise, I might be walking around with an almost embarrassing cast from the next few months. Now, if only the canaries stopped chasing the stars inside my head for a few minutes. But I don't have minutes. Maybe not even seconds. Come on, Crawler. This is no joke. Get your act together. And fast. Because it looks like somebody is planning on updating the last days of Pompeii and using New York for his location shots. The burning cone is immense red and molten rock running like a crimson tears down its torn and blackened sides. 5 lights like the heaven have been seen before in the Pacific off the coast of Greenland, but never in the middle of the Hudson River. All right, so I believe it. The question is now, what in blazes am I going to do about it? I mean, maybe if I was Thor, I could whip up a fast storm and put these first slugger things out. Or the Hulk, I could just bat it clear away to Cleveland. But I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And while I'm not putting that down, volcanoes are just a bit out of my league. Get the dock area cleared. Look, it's Spider-Man. Do you think maybe he had something to do with causing this? I mean, the Bugle says, Conklin, you're here to fight a fire, not to impress us all with your recitation of funny papers. Now, get to work, mister. Sure, but still, it's kind of strange, him showing up wherever something goes wrong. Oops. We had a little technical difficulties here. Let's fix that right now. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Yeah, just about as strange as us showing up every time there's a fire. Conklin, do you ever use your head for anything other than hanging for your helmet on? The fire department's holding the fire away from the 12th Avenue, but you've had to sacrifice the docks, and since I've had to cross them to get to the river, I'd like to try and do without giving myself a king-sized hot foot. Besides, I've been wanting to try this trick out for months. First, I whip me a quick web discs, and my webbing being fireproof, I swing down on top of it, using it as a shield to get me over to the burning docks, and then as a coracle, when I hit the water, it may never replace hang gliding, but it works. A coracle is a small pod-shaped boat, Mariner Marv. But this thing isn't very seaworthy. Heck, it barely floats. So before I give the first one a chance to flip over and toss me into the drink, I spin up a bunch of more of them used as stepping stones, proving once again that the age-old adage that the fastest way to get between 2 points is via this good old spider's web. I made it high and dry. Whoops, look out, web ahead, webhead, broom, cause old some Smoky's blowing its top. Hug earth, wall crawler. Like the song says, it's not really raining rain, you know, it's raining molten rock. Close. Aunt May almost had herself a French fried nephew. Whoa, am I starting to see things? Or is there somebody standing at the top of the clone? I can't tell. Vroom! There goes the cork again. I must have imagined it. Nobody could live through something like that. And it looks like I'm going to get a chance to prove it. Lava pouring out of the crater, coming right towards me, and coming fast. Looks like it's time for a strategic advance to the rear. In other words, wall crawler, run for it. You know this is getting a little ridiculous. I'm jumping all over from one frying pan to another, and I still haven't got the foggiest notion of what's causing all this. And allow me to explain it to the Spider-Man, huh? No, it can't be. You're dead. I saw you die. Captain America eats Twinkies. No, wall crawler, I am the basilisk. I am that I am. And now the jest comes full circle. For it was you, Spider-Man, and the accursed Mr. Fantastic, who were the instruments of my original defeat. And as I have already destroyed Richard's partner, so now I will destroy you. Oh, great. What am I supposed to do against somebody who can KO the Thing? If the Thing's dead, Basilisk. Threats, Spider-Man, threats. Here, you may have your precious fellow hero. I'll allow you a moment to mourn before the end. Oomph! I think I can feel a heartbeat, but it's so hard to tell. But if I can't be sure, then maybe the Basilisk's mistaken, maybe the Thing's alive, which means it's up to me to keep him that way. I'm coming for you, Basilisk. You've killed the Thing, and you're gonna pay, murderer. You are a greater fool than I thought, wall crawler, but in seconds you will be dead fool. Here comes his eye beams, and if he's strong enough to have caused this volcano, I can imagine what they're gonna do to me. What? It can't end here, you say. Well, Marvelette, you're absolutely right. We simply didn't have enough pages in the book to make this thing pulse-pounding epic we felt you deserved. So we continued it, and we'll find a conclusion in the next merry little tale in the pages of Marvel Team Up number 47. Don't dare miss it. And that was that. Okay, that was Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing and Spider-Man, number 17, 25 cents back in 1976. Now, don't forget, this book and others are available on my eBay page, Papa's-Comic-Books. Smash that subscribe button just like The Thing, and hit that like button if you don't mind, please. And as I always say,
that was easy.
Until next time, Papa is out.